Hello everybody. I'm redoing my OS2 video because I wanted it to be in with a little bit more clarity. Just to let you know that this machine is my dad's old Aptiva from 1996. At least that's when he got it. And it sat in the garage for, I don't know, about maybe 10 years or more, or no, yeah, about 10 years. And he was going to chuck it out, and I says, well, if you want it, go ahead. So I thought, well, yeah, let's see what's on it, Well, unfortunately, the hard drive was dead, the power supply was dead, and so I wasn't able to look at anything. So it originally had Windows 95 on it with 16 megabytes of RAM, and so it was just like, it was pretty much your bare bones Windows 95 box. And but I worked in an IT department, and they had a lot of old stuff, including old power supplies and hard drives. So I was able to put a hard drive in and a new power supply, and I changed the floppy out because it was unreliable. I had problems with that. And I also installed I installed an Ethernet card and a different sound card and a different video card. It sounds like I rebuilt the whole, well, okay, the CD-ROM drive, and I should tell you what I didn't change. I just didn't change the motherboard and the CD-ROM drive, and I beefed up the RAM to 64 megabytes of SIM RAM, so it's got a little bit more going for it now than it did before. Yeah, and to be honest, I never used OS2. I always in all the offices I worked in it was Windows and Windows 3.1 and Windows and Windows 95 and beyond. And so I didn't want to put Windows back on this machine because, working with Windows is kind of boring. I mean, it's any simpleton can set up Windows, but that can't be said for OS2. OS2 Warp 4. You've really got to know what you're doing when you're setting up this operating system. Even though it's on a machine that was basically made to order for OS2 Warp, being an Aptiva, still I had issues with drivers, finding the drivers, getting the right drivers in, putting them in correctly. It's especially the video drivers were tough. The sound drivers gave me hassle. It was really not what I was expecting it to be. It was actually quite tough, and a bit of a learning curve for OS2 since I didn't know the operating system. So I went to a used bookstore and I got this book, and I'll just show it to you. I'll just get this over here, and it's just put it in the light. It's OS2 Warp for Dummies is the name of the book, and so that's the book. If you're wanting to take on OS2 as a hobby or anything like that, get a book on it. Like, doesn't have to be this one, but any kind of book on OS2 will really help you. Plus, online resources, of course, are out there, because there's still a lot of people that are devoted to the operating system. In another in another video, there was a guy complained that it's not very user-friendly. I see where he's coming from with that. I think it's a little of an unfair statement. I'm sure he would get jumped on for that, but I get where he's coming from. It is, if you don't know what you're doing, if you don't have like a book like OS2 Warp for Dummies or something, you kind of are in for a shock because you're thinking that, well, this is going to be just like Linux, or this is going to be like Windows. It's got to be like one or the other. I think it's more closer to Linux than it is to Windows. But then again, in some way respects, it's closer to Windows than Linux. It's kind of an in-between system. Well, because it's a PC system, so PCs, it's very different from Mac. I mean, so plus also within OS2, of course, which comes part of the package, you've actually got a Windows 3.1 shell in it, which I just opened up, and you heard the ta-da sound as it opened up Program Manager, which is the so you can run Windows programs in it. I haven't really explored too much about WinOS2. Some things I haven't really tried. I can use internet programs on it. I have used an internet program on it before, so it does work. I know that guy. The other guy says he wasn't able to do that. I don't know whether it's because he set it up virtually. It might have trouble with that. WinOS2, pardon me, not WinOS2, OS2 Warp came bundled with Netscape, but Netscape is far too old-fashioned to have any proper stability on the web. So what to do? There is the browser, and I can show you. I think there's only one site that I can go to in the old browser. So I'll do this before I finish part one. We'll go to the see if I can find the program here. Internet. Let's see what we've got here. Web Explorer. Here we are. It's modem though. Don't connect. Okay, Web Explorer. Let's see if I can. Alright, yeah, here's one website that I've got in the favorites. It's textfiles.com. So this is Web Explorer, and so I can go and where are the files? I can actually this is the only one that I've been able to find that I can actually surf the internet with. I'm sure there's others, but this is one website that I can go. Anarchy and stuff, I don't know. Freeloading, Jolly Roger, lockpicking, mischief, oh, I don't know, it's got all sorts of course, it's a dodgy website, isn't it? But these are text files for all sorts of stuff, e-text, all kind of things. Survivalism. So anyway, so this old browser, yeah, you can find a place to work as Web Explorer. Product information developed by commercial internet products team, workstation development, probably somebody hired out to do it. So that's IBM Web Explorer, and so it does work. However, there is a better browser, and in part 2 of this video I'm going to open it up, and it's called Lynx, and I've demonstrated this browser in another video, and I will show you how it looks in OS2. So until then, I will wait. If you can bear the wait, I will show you what that browser is shortly.